There we go. What's up, everybody? Bobby Gray here, your founder and fearless leader, back again for another edition of our Tuesday night chat. Now, last week we had 2,400 people on our call. This week we're up to 481 so far. Maybe I should continue sending out clickbait style reminder emails to entice people to join us for what wasn't bad news at all. Get you to join in on our Tuesday night conversation. Okay, well, settle in, everyone. We're going to be here for a while. Look, we've been running a normal kind of a board meeting esque format for this call for a while. You know, you get to hear from Rob, you get to hear from Tim, you get to hear from Gage, you get to hear from Kristen, Michaelin, Paige, Marianne, Alex from time to time. And we like that, but we also remember that, you know, that takes a while and we got lots of questions that you guys want answered. And so I want to make sure that, you know, that we're doing this in the appropriate format so that we've got ample time to spend together, you and me, right? This is our time. Tuesday night is when we get to connect and you guys can compliment me on things like my dashing haircut and the nice clean lines of my beard. Can I get a hand up? But no, in all seriousness, I don't think we're going to do it the normal way tonight, Rob, unless you object and you tell me we have so many critical things that need to be covered by everybody else. Thank you, Renee. Otherwise, we'll spend the majority of our time going through things that are important to me, which I think are also going to be important and valuable to you and for us to share tonight. And just so you know, like how these calls come together, I don't start the week with a specific agenda. What you get on Tuesday night is like what's been rattling around in my brain for the last couple days. And every once in a while, those random thoughts end up as coherent ideas that I maybe should or should not communicate with you. And the should not is not anything other than like, hey, is this idea fully formed yet? Do you actually know what you're talking about? Is the time right? We don't have like a PR team here. We don't have like, you know, like a person that's like, no, don't say that. You don't want to, no, that's the wrong way. No, you shouldn't have said that. We don't have that guy. And I don't have that filter in my brain anyway. So what you normally get on a Tuesday night call is the raw, unfiltered, falafel version of what's going on up there. And then you guys get to evaluate it. This guy's totally crazy. Or normally what happens is, yeah, okay, he could have said it different, but at least he told us what was on his mind. And so we're probably going to get into that tonight. Because there's a lot in my brain right now. But first and foremost, I want to say thank you and congratulations because as you know, we're back in the black. We're back. Oh, let me pull up my website here. What's our website again? Is it mindtxc.com? Oh, that's right. Let me share the screen. There's my screen. Go over to the dashboard and voila, look at that. What a turnaround. The revenue and commission chart was in a bit of a free fall there for a few weeks. And of course, we turned back to the positive for week, what was that, week 82, 83, 82? Anybody know what week we're on now? I think that's week 82. It's all very quiet. I feel like I'm alone tonight, Rob.
Do you want me to jump in?
I mean, say something from time to time just so I know that
Hello.
I'm not doing something wrong.
Your hair is outstanding.
Tim's there. Tim's got my back. Who else is supposed to be here? Is Michaelin? Michaelin's out there. She's allowed to talk. If you're normally included in this conversation, Gage is there. Gage is allowed to talk. I got to add you guys in as hosts and panelists here so that I don't have to track you down. Rob, if you see anybody else out there that's supposed to be here, feel free to add them and they can join the conversation in Discord.
You got it.
But yeah, guys, look, we have been in a decline since we had that amazing week I don't know, 82, 81, 80, 79, 78, 77. Week 77 was, stellar. And we've already talked about that. So I don't want to spend too much time on like what happened. We talked about the fact that the price jumped and that gets a lot of people's attention. We talked about the fact that we had a big promotion, a couple promotions going on in September. I don't know if you remember, but we didn't just have the car giveaway, but we also had the September special where anybody was welcome to upgrade to the 9 pack. And so if you look at the number of miners that have joined us, we don't see any huge jumps here. And that's because a lot of existing miners decided to upgrade their package and take advantage of that promotion in September, where you were able to go from, an entry level position to a builder plan. Now that we're seeing how much money is being made through the commission program and that our project is thankfully not a scam. And so, we talked about what this is all about, and we're going to get into this more later, but we need this number to continue trending upwards. And there are a lot of reasons for that we'll get into in a few minutes. But I want to call your attention first and foremost to the fact that we've turned it around. We've got the revenue now pointed back in the right direction. And so congratulations to all of us and to you. We may or may not break $110 million tonight. That's very cool. And we're coming up now. We're just past 43,000 miners. So all this is very exciting. But one thing that I do want to bring your attention to right now is that I finally got a third data point on this first chart, this hash rate chart. And as you may remember, the whole purpose of our project is to build a mine. Let's go all the way back. In fact, Rob, can you bring me those quarters? I would love to have 5 quarters here right now. I didn't bring my quarters. I should have 5 quarters here.
Let me stop my screen so I
got it, Rob.
Suspend the disbelief.
Somebody's got it. You could hold the quarters up yourself, or I could have the quarters. We've got quarters. The whole purpose of our project is to build a mine. Why? Because number one, we believe that there's something wrong with the money. Number two, we believe that cryptocurrency gives us, for the first time in a long time, the tools that we need as a society, as civilization, to actually fix it. And number three is that the best version of cryptocurrency is Texit Coin. It's a big statement, and it will take a while for somebody that's not familiar with our project to understand why that's true. But that's our whole story, kind of in a little, 3-pronged nutshell. There's something wrong with the money. And I encourage all of you to go out there and get your hands on 5 silver quarters manufactured in 1964 or before, as these are. These are old, worn down silver quarters. And stop and consider for a moment that in 1964, the last year that they actually used silver in our circulating coinage, in 1964, the minimum wage was $1.25 per hour. And these 5 silver quarters are $1.25. This is a representation of what $1.25 looked like back in 1964. And, there's a lot of debate about what minimum wage should be. Should it be a living wage? Should we just give money away? What should it be? Well, let's set all that aside for a moment and just consider what these 5 silver quarters are worth today. Because they stopped using silver, real silver in our coins back in 1964. In fact, you can look at the different checkpoints that we've had over the last 112 years as our country and the rest of the world along with it has kind of changed the definition of money. We look at 1913, the Federal Reserve, 1933, the gold confiscation. We look at 1945. I don't know if Bretton Woods was 44 or 45. Fact check me there if you like. We look at Bretton Woods. We look at 1964. We look at 1973. We've got all these different things that happened across the last 112 years that have brought us to where we are today, where number one, they've destroyed the value of our dollar. And again, it's not just an American thing. It's happening all over the world. So don't feel too bad that we're, living through the end of, the dollar's reign. We've done better than most. Give yourself a pat on the back. But there's something wrong with the money. And if you stop to consider that the minimum wage back in 1964, when we actually used real silver in our circulating coinage, It was $1.25. It was 5 silver quarters back then. Today, just the melt value of these 5 silver quarters at today's price is over $40. So these 5 silver quarters from 1964 before today at melt price, not retail, but melt value, is over $40. That's what the minimum wage would be today if we still had silver as our money. So we can all agree that there's something wrong with money. They've destroyed, I think it's intentional, they've destroyed the value of our money. And if you're not directly connected to the money supply and you're just waiting for crumbs to fall off the table of, the overlords, the guys that are plugged into the money system, it's a real, real terrible thing. Breton was 1944. Thank you, iPhone Pro Max 17 user. And I think it's deliberate, like we see happening in this chat group. People agree that it's definitely deliberate. Conspiracy theory or not, who knows? But the point is that there's something wrong with our money. I think that cryptocurrency gave us a real shot at actually taking back control. I think that Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper in 2008 dealt with a really big problem in the realm of digital money. How do we have a decentralized peer-to-peer currency system without a central authority? Oh, we got to have this thing called mining, crypto mining, to prevent double spending. That's what Bitcoin solved, this problem that existed for a long time in the realm of digital peer-to-peer currency of double spending. And so Bitcoin did it. I take my hat off to them. In 2008, I started the American Open Currency Standard. Satoshi started Bitcoin. Satoshi won. They did it. They figured out how to create peer-to-peer digital cash without having to have a central authority, a checkpoint, a gatekeeper, somebody to keep track of the records and transactions. Beautiful. But when the price of Bitcoin took off in 2017 and the whole world woke up to this cryptocurrency evolution, the banks all of a sudden said, hey, we need to be a part of this conversation as well. Because the last thing we want is for money to be for the people and by the people. Again, we get back into conspiracyville here. But the point is that cryptocurrency kind of went full circle. It started out as being something that was designed to disrupt this money and banking system that we have and decentralize it, put all these tools in the hands of individuals. Decentralized finance, we call it DeFi now. And that's what crypto gave us. I think crypto lost its way. And Texit Coin is here to pick up where Bitcoin left off, back when Bitcoin actually cared about the mission of digital decentralized peer-to-peer money that was for the people, that was by the people. That's what we got with crypto. We remember, I remember. And as somebody that considers himself to be a bit of a champion of honest money, I see the opportunity that we have, and that's why I made Texit Coin, to fix the money problem. The thing that the Bitcoin bros had in their hand and let slip through their fingers. Anyway, I digress. We're building a mine. The mine is the trust. The mine is the backbone. The mine is the proof of work that we're actually following through on the promises that we make to people that we invite to join us on this journey. The thing that makes Texit Coin different from everything else that's out there is that we're exclusively building the mine right here in Texas. The project's going well. Guys, I have some really great news. I don't know if it's time to give you great news. Guess what was turned on today in Victoria, Texas? That's right. Let me see if I can pull up a video of it real quick here. I just got the video a couple minutes ago from our friend Steve, who is on site in Victoria, overseeing the final last couple things, the installation of the meter from the electric company. And let me download this here, save as, and I'll try to share my screen. The final installation of the meter from the electric company, the cross connect of the power grid to our container, and voila, we got it. And congratulations to all of us for the hard work and the patience. I don't know if you guys can see this video, but there it is. We got 480 volts coming in. And we are hot. The container is live. There's our friend Steve, exhaust fan inside the container. And we'll watch him turn here to give us a view of the rest of the container. Hopefully, I think he turns. It's making some noise. Come on, man. Show us the container. There's Steve again. At least he's wearing the right shirt. And there you go. Light switch. We're hot.
That's awesome.
Check it out. Just came through just a couple minutes ago. And again, congratulations and thank you to Steve for going down there and babysitting the vendors and getting it done. And that's very exciting for me. I hope it's very exciting for you. That's what we're doing. We're building a mine in Texas. It's not that hard. It's difficult. I don't know why we're the only guys that are able to get the job done. But we're building a mine in Texas, to mine Texit Coin. And it's work and it takes time. And it is the whole purpose of our project because we want to bring the trust, we want to bring the control of that decentralized network here, home, where we have great abundant electricity, we've got an abundant amount of land, we've got great workforce, we've got the right people here to run this thing. And so I spent some time the other day going through all of our ASIC acquisitions and payments. And I made sure that our proof system was 100% up to date so that I could get this third data point on this first chart. And this chart tells you how we're doing. We've got a current hash rate that shows you exactly what our current power is. We've got a sold hash rate, and we've got a purchased hash power. And so all three of these combined begin to tell the story of our work, right? So if we just show you our purchased hash power, you can see that we've had a couple jumps in the last few weeks because we're worried about tariffs. There's our sold hash power just slightly underneath of that. And it's always best if you change this period to weeks so you can see it. But once you add in the hash rate, you can see that that jumped as well because we got the B48 in Mansfield turned on. So if you remember what we talked about a couple weeks ago, I said, look, guys, the first thing we have to do is show you that we actually know what we're doing and have the ability to get the job done. That's proficiency. We need to demonstrate that because we're falling behind here. 2, we need to bring the B48 online. Done. Got it. It's running. It's churning. And that's great. Then we got to get Victoria done. We got to get the power connected. We need to turn that thing on. We haven't turned Victoria on yet. Once we do, you'll see the hash rate, the current hash rate on the website chart jump way, way up. And that'll be an exciting day. And hopefully you'll be there along with me to see it happen. So I think we're very close. The next step now in Victoria is filling the tanks with oil, getting the pumps to circulate, make sure that we don't have any leaks. And once that's done, once we have a day of circulation, we'll drop the modified ASICs into the soup, start to connect them, get the network gear set up, and then we'll be ready to turn the whole thing on. And again, hopefully you'll be there to experience that with us and enjoy the manifestation of this work that we've done. Now, remember, as I mentioned, I think last week, we've got another site that is going to support 2 containers. We've got the 2 containers. They're on site. We just have to transport them to Conroe, drop them in. They're kind of plug and play. The power's already on site. We cross connect, and then boom, we turn 2 more on, 400 more ASICs come to life, and then we're really close to caught up. But again, I wanted to show you guys where we are on the purchased hash power, because one of the most important things is that when you guys earn more mining power or we sell more mining power, we're actually buying it and paying for it. And so this chart shows you how much we've purchased and paid for. We've now purchased and paid for more than $1 million worth of hash power in excess of what we've sold. And the reason for that is 1, we want to be ahead of it, not behind it. 2 is we don't know what's happening with tariffs. So we want to make sure that we catch it at the right time. If we need to not buy some for a couple weeks as the tariff trade war continues, then we want to be able to make that decision later if push comes to shove. So that's very exciting. And so it's really great to be able to give you guys that update and have that data now as the third thing that's featured on that website chart. So keep that in mind. Change the chart here to week and then take a look at our purchased hash power at 19.98 terahash. Remember, we're building 100 million megahash. That's 100,000 gigahash and I think 100 terahash. Yes, 100 terahash. So we've purchased now almost 20 terahash of mining power. We've sold a little over 17 terahash And we're currently running, coming up now on 1 terahash, which means that we are about 17x behind on getting the mine to run properly. Once we get that container, the BC1 turned on, we'll jump by about 3.3 million. The next two brings us up another 6.6 million. And we've got 4 more on order, and I just ordered 4 more containers the other day. So lots happening in mining. Hopefully you guys are paying attention and you're seeing this the same way that I'm seeing it. And what we're seeing is that we're making progress. We're learning. We share the information as it comes. Sometimes we have setbacks, but we can now fully tell you that we're making big steps in the right direction. And hopefully by this time next week, you're hearing about what happened the day that we turned on our first BC1 container. So onward and upward, I say. Okay, where were we? What were we talking about? Were we talking about anything? No? Okay.
We were
keep rambling.
we were eagerly talking about these mines coming online. Everybody's really excited about this.
Well, we were talking about the market. And we were talking about how we're coming up on 110 million there. That was a big milestone when we crossed over 100 million. And we're talking about how good it is that we've seen this trend reverse just a little bit. And we don't know what this week is going to bring. We're optimistic. But I do want to call some attention to it. Maybe I'll do that later. Look, guys, we want more cars out on the street. We want your car to get wrapped. We want you out there being an ambassador for us. It all worked. I can't tell you how many meetings I've had around McKinney with Economic Development Council, Chamber of Commerce, people saying, we see your cars everywhere. Yes, that's exactly what we want. We set a goal. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you were here for it, but we set a goal 3-4 months ago that in 3-6 months, we wanted everyone across the state to have known and heard of Texit Coin. And the cars out there, it's great for the brands. We're live now in Dallas, Houston Hobby, Houston Intercontinental, Miami, Orlando, LAX Airport. We're on radio stations. We're on billboards. We're going live in a new airport. I can't even tell you what it is. Our vendors said, please don't say this, but we got good news. We are going live in something airport. And no, I did not use the right amount of somethings there just to throw you off. But we are going live in a new airport soon as well. And so it's all working. It's going incredibly well. So we want you guys to have really great stuff. We want you to enjoy it as much as we are. It's not Philadelphia. It's not DC. It's actually somewhere where we have a really great team, a big team right now. And so they're going to be really excited about what's going on. But yeah, guys, congratulations. We're all kind of glad that this is behind us. It's not because we don't love you. It's not because we don't want these cars going out there, but it was a lot of work. Rob, you really worked your butt off with finding cool vehicles, buying them, fixing them, getting them here, getting them down there. It's a lot. It was a lot of work, and we're glad that the effort is largely behind us now. We may have to go and pick out 8 more vehicles or send out $96,000 in cash. Be that as it may, congratulations to the winners. And please, guys, obey traffic laws. Try to be good brand ambassadors out there. Don't cut off too many people in traffic. We don't want those 1-star ratings coming in on Google. Because some jerk in a Lamborghini went blowing by me at 190. This has not yet happened. Hopefully it does not happen. But there you go. So we committed to doing that last week. The other thing we committed to last week, if you tuned in, was receipts for our new strategy. And I don't have that all put together yet. It was this or the other thing, and I went with this. So I'll have that for you guys next week, hopefully, the receipts. And I want to address some concerns because there's been some chatter about the strategy, some feedback. I wouldn't say it's positive or negative, but I want to just remind you guys of the responsibility, the burden that rests on our shoulders to do a good job protecting our assets. And, look, there's a lot. There's a lot. I'll be the first to admit that it's exciting and it's cool and it's fun. But it's also a lot of pressure. And as the stakes get higher and higher and higher, we need to make great decisions all the time. We have to watch out for all the risks. whether they're physical or digital. We have all of that to worry about. And the primary goal for us with the strategy we talked about last week with real estate and property is when we can take a chunk of cash and bolt it down to the ground in a piece of property, it's not going to run away. No one's going to show up there with like a pair of pliers and like a tow truck with a hook on the back and hook it onto the front door and run off with the house. So when we do that, we're putting this liquidity into some sort of physical form that can't be disappeared. And that's a really, really great peace of mind to know that $5 million that was sitting in digital zeros and ones or in a safe somewhere is now rooted to the ground. That takes a lot of pressure off my shoulders. It frees up my brain power to start working on more important things like layer two, which has made a lot of progress in the last week as well. But anyway, that's a little bit of clarity. It's not a strategy for easy access to liquidity. It's a strategy for keeping something safe. Now, people say, well, real estate's volatile. We could be coming up on a crash. And maybe that's the case. But if you look at the value of property in and around McKinney, even when we have a big correction or a reset, it doesn't drop more than 5 or 10%. McKinney is one of the fastest growing areas of the country. We've been like that for 20, 25 years. I moved down to McKinney and it was the fastest growing city in McKinney back in 2004. Sorry, it was the fastest growing city in the country back in 2004. And so property values around here are skyrocketing or they're very stable. And so we're looking for great deals. We're trying to pick things up. And again, that just gives us a place to keep cash safe. And that's a primary goal for us as these numbers get bigger, as the stakes get higher. Somebody says, please address the issue of Texit Raider. Yeah, we've got a loose cannon out there, guys. I don't know if you know him, but he's been kicked out finally. I don't know why I didn't do it back in May when he made death threats. But no, he's out, and hopefully these issues are. Who said it's Denver? What do you know? And so again, guys, look, we've got a lot of people now. We're at 43,000 miners. The project is bigger and better than it's ever been. And so we just have to be good stewards of the risk and the trust and make good decisions every day, day in, day out. And it's not easy. But I think we're doing a great job. I think we got some really great people here now as well that are helping keep the ship pointed in the right direction. So thank you. Congratulations. Okay. Do we have anything else that you want to talk about before I get back into what I was talking about earlier?
You're doing wonderful.
Thanks. So let's go back to what I was talking about earlier with how important it is that the numbers turn around. We were taking a look at this chart and we saw a really great jump mid-September and then kind of cooled off a little bit, and now the numbers have turned back around. Here's the reason why this is so important. This is so important because our project succeeds as it grows. And the equation is very simple. Sales equals growth equals cash equals liquidity equals marketing and promotion budget equals success. And so a very long time ago, I think probably it was sometime back around December or January, I published the article that talks about the path to 16. And if you're not familiar with this article, I really need you guys to go out and check it out. It's on the help desk, help.mindtxe.com, the path to 16 by February of 2026. And the path to 16 lays out a chart that shows you a price target that I believe we can support, an amount of liquidity, cash that's required to support it, and an estimated time as to when I think we can get there. And I need to remind you guys that this chart is an idea. It's a concept. It's a theory. It's a working model. It's something that we're developing as we go. It's not written in stone, but I published it. And as you've seen it, if you've been watching, we've been very good at meeting it. We've been very good at meeting the schedule and having the liquidity required and being able to support the price at these levels along the way. And so our goal by the end of November is to be able to reliably support a $5.29 price with $10 million of liquidity. Now, we already have the $10 million of liquidity. And so therefore, we nudge the price of the digital asset on the open market up to $5.29. And that gave us a kind of a target market cap of $285 million. I think we're over $300 million today. But it's a working theory. So far, the theory So far, the theory has held up and we're ahead of schedule. But the stakes are getting high now. And you can see that by the end of 2025, we need to inject another $15 million of capital into the liquidity pool in order to take our price up to $7.45. It's not guaranteed, and it only happens because we have the liquidity to support it. So the rule is that I will not get involved in the market at any price above what I've pre-established unless I have the liquidity there in provable hand to support it. And if you look at the liquidity that we've got so far, we've got the first couple $1 million in crypto, we've got the next $2 million in gold, and we've got a new addition here. I haven't updated the site yet in property, an additional $5 million, which is great. That takes us up to $10 million. It means that I'm allowed to go in and modify the market buy to $5.29, which we did after last week's call. We put it out to a vote. 94% of you said we're okay with the strategy. Let's go. And so we went there. Now, since then, I'll share my screen with you. Since then, we've had to buy back about $3 million of TXC. And so if you look at what's happening on DexTrade, you can see that we keep kind of bopping across this $5.29 price. In fact, somebody crashed below the floor that was established the other day. Now, let me show you our market involvement. Let me log in real quick here and show you what's happening behind the scenes. This is the only account that I've got for DexTrade. Let me log in real quick. It's probably going to want to send a message to my email. Hold on. 486374. Okay. So we log in and let's go over to the wallet. Let's take a look at the transaction history. In the last couple days, you can see that my deposits of USDT, which is all I deposit here, USDT, you can see today, $333,000. Yesterday, $401,000. The 25th, $282,000. 25th, $25,000. The 25th, $6,900. The 23rd, $322,000. Another $100,000 the same day. $287,000 the day before. $329,000 the day before that. So when we started taking a look at $5.29, if you add these numbers up, I deposited $2 million of USDT onto the market. What do we have in hand right now? We have in hand right now 375,000, and 187 of that right now is locked up in current buy orders, limit buy orders on the market. You can see where we are. If you go into DexTrade and you scroll down to 529, you'll see that big giant floor that we've set. There's our $187,000. So we put this in here to establish kind of a floor for the price at $5.29. Well, if you look at the volume that's happened over the last couple of days, we've got a lot of selling pressure. And we're using a lot of cash to continue to support the price of $5.29. We haven't had to tap into our liquidity, our designated liquidity for it yet. And we're hoping that we don't have to. So the big question that we ask ourselves over here is, who's selling? Who's selling millions and millions of dollars of Texit Coin right now? You know, we usually see this happen right after we do a move up. And so it's not completely unexpected, but it's a lot. And so what we do is we pull up the Explorer, where you can take a look at who the top holders of Texit Coin are. And there, if you look at the top 100, you scroll all the way down here, you know, the top 100 holders are holding like 90,000 or more coins. And if you scroll up a little bit higher, you can see that there are, 25 people that are holding on to 150,000, 200,000 coins. Most of these are people that got in extremely, extremely early and picked up big chunks of Texit Coin at a very low price. And so what we're doing is we're looking at that now and saying, man, somebody's cashing out. Now, look, the coins are there, the liquidity is there for them to be able to do that if they want. Remember, you can only get off the rocket ship one time. You don't have to sell out completely. But we think that a lot of people that got in very early are looking at $5 now and saying, man, I've got, 400,000 coins. That's $2 million. That's a lot of money. That's more money than I ever imagined seeing in my life. And there it is, sitting there on the market. All I got to do is go click the market sell, and that money's in my bank account. A couple steps. And I said, this is a risk for us. Somebody could really sit on the market there and either churn through all of our liquidity or make it really hard for us to move up to the next level. We can't move up to the next level, whatever that next level is supposed to be, $7.45, until two things happen. Number one, we have the liquidity to go out there and support the price where we would like to be. And number two is we have to buy out all of the sell orders that are sitting there on the market between what the current price is and where we want it to go. And so if we wanted to move the market price up right now, let's say to $6, it would cost $143,000 to buy out all of these sell orders to make that move. And so we know that if we wanted to move to 6, it's going to cost at least $143,000. What would it cost to go all the way up to 7? Probably $250,000, $300,000. So if somebody that came in very early sits there at $6 with 200,000 coins for sale, it would cost us $1.2 million just to get past 6. And so we're looking at this and we're saying, okay, what can we learn? First of all, what do we have to change? And we learned that, look, we've got to, we've got some pressure, we've got some risk. And I wouldn't fault anybody in any way whatsoever that's looking at the price and saying, I got in early, I took a big risk back in the early days, and man, I could have $1 million or $2 million or $3 or $5 million paycheck today. Why not? That's a hard thing for anybody to argue their way out of. And it doesn't mean they're weak. It doesn't mean that they don't have diamond hands. It just means that they're looking at a guaranteed cash in hand benefit. They might think that our project's great and going all the way to the moon and beyond. But they're also looking at that and saying, this is very real, and I might want to put that cash in my pocket. Here's the deal. We did some research, and we looked at how many people have joined. And we went back all the way to like the first 1,000 people. And it's really only the people that join in the first 100 or 200 that actually have accumulated enough coins that they could put consistent pressure on the market to make it difficult for us to move up the price the next time we want to do that. That's a big thing to chew on. So the point is that we went back 3 months. If you joined 3 months ago, how many coins do you have today on a single seat? 75. If you joined 6 months ago, how many coins do you have? A handful more. That's not in any way a challenge for us to work with. It's not in any way, something that we view as a risk. But it's the first 100 or 200 people that joined our community that are looking at it now and saying, I'm a millionaire. I want to cash out. And I can't blame them for having that thought and considering it or doing it. Not at all. But here's what it tracks back to. What it tracks back to is the idea that it's our continued growth that drives the liquidity. So think about it like this. If we need to bring in another $15 million of liquidity to increase our current liquidity from $10 million to $25 million, we have until the end of 2025 to do that. We have time. It's not like we're up against the clock right now. It's not like we're looking at it and saying, oh man, I got 5 minutes to come up with $15 million. I need to start thinking about like some treacherous, nefarious stuff to get there. No. We got time. We're ahead of schedule right now. We have until the end of the year. But based on our budget, liquidity is 10%. And so what we're looking at now is we're saying, okay, we need to do $150 million of sales between now and the end of the year in order to bring in enough cash to be able to set aside that 10% for liquidity so that we can nudge the price up to the place where we want it to be by the end of 2025. Okay, I know this is a lot to swallow. You might have to watch this video a time or two to understand what's, like I said, been rattling around in my brain the last couple of days. But we're looking at this and we're saying, okay, guys, it's time to turn the page. First of all, we need to turn the numbers around. We need to have this chart start to point back in the right direction. You know, we're not going to do 75 million this month and 150 or 50 million this month and 100 million next month, you know, if our numbers are continuing to drop. So we got to turn that around. And then we got to do all the things that we've been talking about forever and ever and ever to actually see an improvement. Think about it like this. We got 43,000 miners now. If every one of our miners brought on one new recruit in the next month, it's $43 million in sales. We don't do any marketing. We don't do any emails. We don't remind the miners where they are, how far away they are from their next sale, how far away they are from their next 1, 2 free. This hasn't happened because we haven't had an email system built into payout to do it. We do now. What about the website update? When are we going to get the website update done to communicate to these people that are looking at us and saying, look, I see that you guys have billboards and advertising, but the website still looks like the same scam it looked like on day one. We got to get the website done. And now we need to turn the page. We need to turn the corner and start thinking about scalability. We had a big system update happen that we're putting into effect at number 45,000. We've been slow because it's taken us 3-4 weeks to get welcome kits shipped out. That's all changing now. Now, when somebody signs up at 45,000 or more, they're going to get a welcome kit. And it's going to say, you must activate your account. Matching up a specific coin to a specific account is a real disaster. So now when somebody signs up, we send them a welcome kit. The coins are stockpiled, accrued in a what do you call it? I lost the word for that.
It's not a tranche.
No, that's the one I wanted to say, but they're warehoused. The coins are escrowed. Then you got to go in, you got to put in your 6-digit code of the coin that you physically have in hand, because we're tired of dealing with coins getting lost by UPS. How is it that we have to pay for coins the UPS loses? Well, we do. And so now what's going to happen is you get your kit in the mail, you type in your 6-digit coin ID, your account is activated, all the coins that we escrowed get dumped onto that coin, no more missing coins. And we can send those packages out by the tens of thousands because we can outsource them. We don't have to worry about looking up a coin ID in the system and matching it up to an exact user and address. The faster you get your coin in the mail, the faster you are to learn about us and discover us and engage the project and decide we're not a scam and start sharing it with friends and family. Now is the time for us to put all these things that we've talked about for months into effect so that we can grow and scale. And guys, I'm highly confident that we've got the right people, the right systems. We've done so much to get to the point where we are now, where the numbers turn around, they start heading in the right direction, and we can scale. We need your help to do it. We need your help to take all the things that we've been working on and get out there and share that message. We'll give you access to more data. We'll give you access to better reports. We'll give you back access to better information. Who's your ranger? Who's your support person? So that you guys have the confidence that you need to go out there and continue to help us promote and grow. And it's the growth that creates the cash flow that we use for liquidity, that we use for marketing and promotion, that we use to take the rocket to where we want to go. Our success, our ability to follow the path to 16 chart is directly related to our growth. And if our growth slows down, it becomes very difficult for us to hit these numbers. These numbers aren't written in stone. It's a theory that I came up with. But the theory is based on about 40% growth. And if we're not growing by 40% every month, it becomes very difficult to continue to meet the obligation that we've set for ourselves here with these numbers. And it's very important that we continue to hit these goals. Because if we're not keeping up with the chart, everybody looks at us and goes, oh, looks like they lost it. And we go, whoa, 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 whoa. We're still doing great. We're building the mine. We're improving. We're doing all these great stuff. We're following through on all the promises. We're not, it's not over. We're just getting started. Well, you didn't hit Bobby's numbers in time. You were ahead of schedule and all of a sudden you missed one. So I want to communicate to you the importance of us continuing to do a good job and setting ourselves up so we can scale. Have we talked about what we're doing in December to get the message out to everybody across the U.S.?
Yeah, so I didn't want to steal Kristen's thunder, but I was going to put out an APB on everybody with trucks and cars.
Right.
So depends on how you want to unroll this thing.
Is Kristen here? She seemed like she had better things to do tonight than mess around on this call. She's not here. So guess what? Some of you probably already heard about how Texit Coin saved Christmas. And it is very true, and I'll tell you exactly what happened. We reached out to our friends over at the Dallas Holiday Parade. Now, the Dallas Holiday Parade is the second largest holiday parade in the country. In fact, it's number 2 behind New York. And the Dallas Holiday Parade came into a problem because they had a big sponsor pull out last minute. And that big sponsor was supposed to be putting up the cash that they were going to need to take down the electric or the lighting going down the street. Otherwise, they were going to have to cancel their floats and their balloons. And we reached out to our friend Jeff over at the Dallas Holiday Parade just in time to save Christmas. And he said, I can't believe you guys showed up, because now with your donation, with your contribution and sponsorship, we're going to be able to continue to have the floats. So they proposed 3 different things for us for this parade. Now, let me just tell you real quick. This parade goes out on live TV to 20 to 25 million households across the country. We've got 3 sponsorships that we've done for them to save Christmas. Remember what they are? I'm going to pull them up real quick here.
You bought the stage.
The Neiman Marcus stage has been renamed to the Texit Coin stage. We get our own float in the whole event. They call these sponsorship packages. And the exact words.
And then we'll be pulling every single float.
To enrich this partnership, we would like to make Texit Coin the angel helping save the Giant Inflatables program. A press junket will be announced this Thursday to announce you all to the program that will now be moving forward. Additionally, we have a new branded section in front of the Neiman Marcus that we would like to place all 200 of our VIP seats branding at the Texit Coin stage. Very honored to be presenting this proposal. So we dropped $200,000 on this project. And we spent $100,000 getting our own vignette. Is that saying it the right way? We get a 30-second TV commercial. We get a 1-minute exclusive interview on TV. We get a marching band. We get a giant inflatable that they're going to make for us. Guys, it's too much here to list. I'm going to forward you in our Telegram chat right now the whole thing so you can see it for yourself. It's coming out here to, what, Texit Fun, Events and Travel. Let's put in Events and Travel. And there it is. If you want all the details, they're right there in Telegram.
We'll have Kristen reach out to the community a little bit more, but what we're looking for is a minimum of 12 3/4-ton trucks. And if you don't have your truck wrapped, you might get bumped to the front of the line.
The front of the list. That's right.
You need to be available December 6th, which is a Saturday. And like I said, they need 3/4-ton or larger to pull the floats. And then we need 22 exotic or / classic cars, unique cars that hopefully are wrapped as well. So reach out to Rob at blockchainmint.com or reach out to Kristen at blockchainmint.com. If you are available, we really need your assistance.
Guys, one of the packages that they've offered that we engaged allows our wrapped vehicles to pull every single one of the floats in the parade. They mentioned the vehicle that pulls it on live TV with every float that comes down. We've got the whole thing. We literally saved this parade, and they're going to make a really big deal about it. Now, I reached out to them and I said, look, there's a couple concerns. Number one, we want to sponsor it, but we also want to do something for the community. So I'll only do it if you come up with a clever way for us to have an additional $50,000 benefit that goes directly to the community. Because they told us that at the Dallas Food Bank in the last couple of weeks, they're serving 4 times as many people as normal. Normally, they've got 1,300 people show up for 1,300 families come up to the food bank. The last couple of weeks, they've had 10, 12, 15, 14,000 people showing up for food. And so, that's one thing. And the other thing is, like, it's really important for our message to not come off real tone deaf. holidays are stressful times of the year. I remember when I was a kid, man, Christmas was like the saddest time of the year. It was always disappointment. There was never enough to go around. Nobody ever got what they really dreamed of. And Christmas isn't always about giving and all that stuff. It's supposed to be about warmth and love and family and, 'tis the season. And I said, it's going to come off really tone deaf if there we are driving our Lambos and our McLarens and our convertibles and all that stuff. What I want to do is I want to make sure that as we're there in the spotlight, we're communicating who we are and what we're doing. We're trying to remind people that the money is broken. We're trying to remind people that the reason that this wealth gap is getting bigger and bigger and bigger is because they don't know who's stealing from them. They don't know what's broken. They don't know that they're being lied to or cheated. We want them to know that cryptocurrency provides us with the tools to take control back of our financial future. And if you at least open up your mind and learn, maybe, just maybe, you can stop that bleeding. Maybe your family can start to, understand how important it is to, to learn what money is and, why the value of it continues to decline over time and how it goes less and less far with each year that passes by. And maybe, just maybe, if they find something real like Texit Coin, they can give themselves a chance to change their financial future. And that's a really important thing that we need to communicate to the people of Dallas and the 20 to 25 million other people that are going to be watching this all over the country. And so that's a really big thing for us. I'm really proud of it. We do all kinds of stuff. We sponsor MMA events and we sponsor billboards and we sponsor barbecues. But this is the kind of event that we really want to be known for. We want to be known for, participating in our community, helping fund and sponsor and fundraise the things that people really enjoy, that gives them warmth, and helps bring people together. But we want them to know that we understand what they're going through, and we want to help educate. We want to help provide tools and resources so that they may just be able to have a chance to stop that trend going in the wrong direction and start to retake control of their financial future and not just leave it up to the banks and the overlords to decide. And so that's a big thing that we've put some resources into that we're very excited about. But again, we need your help. So if you've got a 3/4 ton pickup or better and it's wrapped or not yet wrapped, or you want it to be wrapped and you're around on December 6th, we'd love to borrow it, or we'd love to have you help us save Christmas and participate in the Dallas Holiday Parade. So consider that. If you've got time in your schedule, if you've got that in your heart to share with us and the community and the people of Dallas, then certainly let us know. Get in contact with Rob or Kristen, and let's coordinate so that we can make a really great presentation, not just to the parade people, not just to the city planners and coordinators, not just to the people that come out and watch, but to the 20 to 25 million people across the country that are going to watch this parade. Look, if you haven't heard about us yet, it's going to happen soon. So congratulations to our team for finding that. Lakisa actually brought that to the table for us. She'll be there on TV to share that story as well. She's a new Texas Ranger, so thank you, Lakisa. And man, we are really excited about moving forward with that project. All right, what else do we have to cover on tonight's call? We talked about, guys, there's one other thing that I want to mention before I go. Well, before we go into Q&A. Also, if you've been paying attention, you may have noticed on CoinMarketCap, we've got a couple new exchanges. Pi and X went live this past week, as well as JU.com, the largest exchange in China, is now hosting a trade pair for Texit Coin. We've got a couple more coming soon. We've got Weeks, we've got CoinStore, and we've got XT. Quick update on CoinMarketCap and our verified listing. Tentatively at the moment, we have been turned down. That doesn't mean we can't ever do it. It just means that they've reviewed it and they said they want to see two things. Number one, they want to see more exchanges and more higher quality exchanges. That's where we're coming at them with Weeks, CoinStore, XT, and the two new ones that just went live. And they want to see us do a little bit with the top couple wallets. They want to know who owns those wallets. Is it community people or is it team people? So we've already answered that question, and so we're excited about giving them or asking them to take another look at us sometime in the next couple of weeks after Weeks, Coin Store, and XT go live. So little bad news there. But again, guys, it's not the first time we've been turned down to only find that change as we get bigger and as our project matures. I mean, guys, think about the volume now on these coins. I remember when it was 15, 20,000 a day. Now we're looking at daily volume 656,000. Again, we did a lot of buying, but now we're seeing some market activity again. We've been barcoding for a couple of days, and now the market's starting to come alive again. And so we usually see a lot of selling pressure when we do a move up. The guys that were sitting around waiting for 529 to show up so they can sell a chunk of their early coins, they sell them, they monetize them, and then we get back to our normal format of growth and excitement, and life goes on. So it's work. We've crossed over the point where we are now at 17.3% of the mine sold. So a long way to go, but remember, we're in the trenches now. We're running the business. Sometimes it's not too glamorous. Sometimes it feels like work, but that's what makes us really great. The fact that whether times are up or down, whether the news is good or bad, we're going to keep doing the things that we promised that we would do so that our project continues moving in the right direction. We're unfazed by that stuff, but we know that you guys pay really close attention to some of these numbers, some of the growth, some of the charts, some of the pricing. And so again, you'll get our input on it. You guys might have your own takeaway on exactly what's happening. Share those comments and feedback with our community. I also bought recently the Texit Coin subreddit. Somebody set up a Texit Coin subreddit a couple months ago. I jumped in, asked if I could be a moderator. And so I'd like to encourage us to start having a more lively discussion, not in our Telegram group, but on the Reddit forum or another forum like that, where that stuff is public and we've got, third parties out there that can help moderate it. And also that information is documented. So if you've got thoughts and you've got feedback and you want that stuff to go out into some sort of public forum for other people to evaluate and consider, where it doesn't get buried in the Telegram channel, then the Reddit group would be a better place to do that. So keep that in mind as well. All right. What else do we have to cover before we jump into Q&A? Anything?
I think that's it. I think you're ready to rock and roll on some of these questions.
Car winners, method, giveaway, heavily selling pressure, new exchanges, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Onward and upward, I say. We're doing well. We're going to
buy your Texit Coin,
focus on scalability, and let's grow. Okay, so good news is now that we got the webinar chat set up, we can have the miscellaneous comments going over there, and thank you for that. I think this chat is going to be continuous, and so keep it going over there. And then, guys, just really restrict the things that you put into the Q&A section to like real deal questions that you actually want to have asked in our live forum here. I try to go through all of them. Last week was tough because we had a long topic to cover. This week we've got a little bit more time, but again, my dinner calls to me, as maybe does yours. So if you've got a relevant question, get it into the Q&A. If it's we love your haircut, Bobby, thank you. Get that into the chat, and we'll go through all these things real quick. All right, here we go. I keep hearing from presenters that we were buying nodes or miners. On Thursday presentation, Denman did a very well job, but he said it was a miner with our name on it, even though nodes are... So look, you're buying hash power. Okay. When you put your money in, you're buying 100 mega hash. Okay. When you put, the max money in, you're buying 900 mega hash and you get a couple for free. That's going to change soon, by the way. And so you're buying hash power. Your hash power lives in a condo in our data center unless and until you accumulate enough hash power where you can actually take delivery of your miner. 700 for the Mini Doge 3, 2100 for the DG1 Home. So what you're doing is you're buying mining hash power up until you get to the point. Oh, clarify. That's only if you're in Texas at the moment. So you're buying hash power. I don't know if we want to call it nodes or miners or what, but you're getting hash power. Every time the money goes in, the hash power increases, the mine grows. So that's what you're actually getting. Hopefully you're getting enough of it and you're in Texas to where you can take it at home, plug it into your electric, set it up in a manner so that maybe it turns off during the day if you've got free electricity at night. That way you're getting your rewards at no cost to you. Dean, would a barter company like iTex or Alamo be a potential group that would benefit from using our layer 2? Yes, absolutely. Dean, that's how I got started in this whole thing. In 1999, an iTex rep knocked on my office door promising to bring me new customers and clients that I've never seen before. And the only catch was that they were going to pay me in iTex dollars. I got in, I fell in love. When I saw the Liberty dollar in 2007, I'm like, this is just like iTex. And that really got me going. So yeah, we want barter groups. I eventually want to hire some barter people to help us put together our marketplace stuff, but they're definitely going to be good prospects for us. I don't think the answer to your question is yes, because iTechs and barter groups usually inflate their currency. Now, maybe a layer two will make that a little bit more difficult, but nobody ever knew how many iTex dollars were getting printed and put into circulation. Ken says he has a prospect that wants to know how the bills get paid, hardware, electric, staff, office space after the mine sells out and the crowdfunding stops. How do I answer that? Well, the electric and hardware are one thing. Staff, office space, et cetera, is a different thing. So once the mine is completely sold out, remember that the majority of our revenue is going to come from merge mining Litecoin and Doge. We're merge mining Litecoin right now, and we're really expecting to see much better results on that as we turn our first container on. Because remember, because we're mining into our pool is saying to the Litecoin network, hey, notice me. And the Litecoin network is like, you're really too small for me to even care about. Once our pool gets bigger and our mining hash power gets bigger, the numbers are going to be a lot more impressive, and we'll be able to share those results with the home miners. So a lot changes once that first container turns on. But through mining Litecoin and Doge, we're hoping to cover our electric bill and our hardware costs, and maybe even make some profit that we can kick back into the general, budget. As far as office staff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, we're not going to really have the same staff that we have now. Right now our staff is dedicated to onboarding new miners and mailing out welcome kits. So we won't really have the same staff and office need once the seats are full. So our hope is to repurpose the majority of that staff and overhead into the downtown digital program or phase 3. And so that's the answer to your question. Merge mining for electric and hardware. If worse comes to worse, we'll probably take a 3 or 2% maintenance overhead fee out of the pool rewards like the other mining pools do, but we're not really sure yet because that day hasn't come. Anonymous attendee. Oh, we might skip over anonymous questions as well. If you're here, you're registering for the event or the Tuesday night calls, we'd really like to know who the questions are coming from, because sometimes we get garbage from people that are anonymous and it's just a waste of time. What happens when the mining equipment becomes outdated in a couple of years with newer technologies? Same thing. See the previous answer. There will be, an overhead fee that we take out of that pool for us to continue to stay relevant. But remember, because we're competing against each other, we don't have the same upgrade pressure that everybody else does. Morgan says, will we have some sort of insurance on the miners, or are we self-insuring? I had no idea until coming back from Dallas this last weekend how big you guys' thunderstorms are. Yeah, we have some pretty serious storms. We have some insurance now. I'm not sure if we will continue to carry insurance for all the equipment. I don't actually trust insurance companies. They do everything they can to get out of paying for a claim. So we'll probably self-insure to a certain extent. We'll probably invest in, power protection. But I don't know exactly what the answer to that question is yet, but we'll take a look at it as the numbers get bigger. Probably have some insurance. Could we had a staking option with Texit Coin? No, it's not a stakeable coin. Stakeable coins are proof of stake coins. We're a proof of work coin. Mark says, please explain what all the factors are that go into mining tokens. What are the reasons for the massive swings in token output? Do we not have enough power? Are we still being affected by Litecoin? Yes, we're still being affected, and we really can't make too many judgments on what affects that until we turn on the BC1. Once the container goes live and we're 1/35th of the total power towards our goal, then we can really start to evaluate how the network is operating. Since we're not mining 120,000 coins per day, will the number of years of mining be extended? Yeah. That's actually an interesting thing that, the block time is directly related to the total network time. I also do not understand why the mining of tokens varies very much, but I'm not spending too much time worried about it until we really get the network really, really going. Right now, we're kind of just treading water right now with the network. Once that first container turns on, we'll know a whole lot more. I love the mission of Texit Coin, says anonymous attendee. I have connections in MLM and reached out to an MLM owner who happens to be an attorney as well to share the project. He told me we are committing fraud because we have an MLM compensation binary attached to our crowdfunding. We have registered with the FTC to be compliant. How do I answer him? Well, I would say that he's probably wrong. You know, there's nothing FTC required for any kind of MLM, so far as I know. There's nothing FTC required for crypto mining. There's nothing FTC required for Texit Coin, which is a clone of Litecoin. When you put all those things together, sure starts getting into some gray areas there. We don't have legal counsel. We haven't checked with legal counsel. That's not necessarily like part of our strategy for defense, but everything that I've looked into has indicated to me that we're not a security. And that's going to be something that's very difficult for somebody that specializes in that type of law to agree with. My suggestion to them and everybody else is, look, if you're not comfortable with it, then this isn't the crypto project for you. There are plenty of other things for you to put your money into. Many of those things are scams. This one's legit. Whether or not it's a security will have to be adjudicated over time with experts in those departments, which I am not. Mitchell, 3 weeks ago, you showed some pictures in your camera roll of Lewis, Crane, and Hoyce unloading the trailers in the Mansfield mining site. I'd like to get a copy of those pictures for bragging rights in my next Texit Coin presentation. You'll have to check with Jay Horton. I think Jay snapped those pictures, and he's the guy that would be in a position to let you know whether or not they're shareable. Clinton says, when the mines Doge and Litecoin, is there a paper where we can see how much? Yeah, there is. In fact, this is a really cool thing that you guys should pay attention to, because this is going to come into play as we get into more of the home mining stuff. Pool.texitcoin.org. Check it out. This is the site that shows off how our pool is doing. Now, remember, we've got 2 pools. So this is one of the pools. The pool hash rate dropped quite a bit in the last hour. Not sure what's going on there. But this is showing how the pool is running. And so keep an eye on this site to see who's hashing. And this is where you will go as well to manage your miner, get your miner credentials when you get yours that you're taking home in the state of Texas. This will show you how we're doing. Now, we just turned this on a couple days ago, and so we're not really expecting to hit a Litecoin block yet. Remember, in the past, it was like every 6 days that we were hitting a block. So we're keeping an eye on the pool results here. And the second pool is actually pool-AWS. I don't think this site is live yet. Oh, it is live. So there's our second pool. And this one has hit 4 Litecoin blocks. And again, you can see that the McKinney B24 is the only miner that's connected right now to this pool. So keep an eye on these 2 websites, pool-texitcoin.org and pool-aws.texitcoin.org. And when you're ready to plug in your home miner, you can connect to either one of those pools, and it is all right there for your viewing and evaluation pleasures. Pretty cool. Progress. When buying real estate for liquidity, why not putting in an LLC? We talked about that last week because I want to put everything in my name so that nobody accuses me of trying to hide stuff. Is the builder pack still available for purchase? It sure is, Selena. Come join us. Has the comp plan been finalized for 50,000 plus so that we can communicate what miners will miss out on if they wait? Yeah. The only thing that goes away for 50,000 plus is they won't have access to BOGO. So if you do your 3 points left and your 3 points right, you're eligible for $1,000 commission. You can take that commission in hash power. You can take it in Texit Coin, or you can take it in USDC. Now, for anybody that joins us before 50, if hash power is an option, then you get 2 for 1. We started that a long time ago. It's been a really great tool for people that are playing in the long game, but it will not be available for anybody that joins 50,001 or more. The reason for that is because we need to sell as many seats as we can and not give away too many. But really, the hash power benefit is kind of cool. And it's the only way that you're able to acquire more than the maximum. You got to earn it. And that means that the guys that are mining the most Texit Coin are the least likely to dump it on the market because they've earned those coins through hard work, not through, a cash grab. So that's the only thing that we're expecting to change. What will be done with the other coins mined? We will sell them and use them to pay the electric bill. What countries are allowed to promote Texit Coin? Any countries where it's legal to do so. I see the decentralized aspect of TXC, but it also has elements of being centralized. You're exactly right. Do you call Texit Coin decentralized or centralized or modified? It's decentralized. Look, there's a couple different important distinctions. It's a decentralized cryptocurrency. Anybody can participate. The network of miners is decentralized. Anybody that's a miner that's in Texas is able to set up one of these at home once you have enough hash power. But it's permissioned. So I want you to focus on the difference. And again, it's terminology and nuanced a little bit between permissioned and decentralized. A network can be decentralized, but still permissioned. We're permissioned, meaning you have to pay in order to become a miner. What that does is it gives us a maximum. No one's allowed to buy their way to the top. And it gives us the advantage where somebody can't come in from outside and take 51% of our network and start calling the shots. That's what happened to everybody else, except for guys like XRP, which are also quite centralized, I might add. Hope that helps. Morgan says, would it be beneficial to put in a statement out to the community to offer you guys buy it first versus buying on the exchange? Yeah, look, you can buy Texit Coin in the back office. I think what you're talking about maybe is selling. But really what happens is when we're buying off the market, we stockpile that and then we make it available for sale in the back office so that anybody can go in there, any miner can go in there and get those coins through the back office. So we're constantly recycling all this Texit Coin. And so if somebody got in early and they want to cash out, there's a new buyer usually there that picks it up. It's always a little bumpy when the price makes a big move, and going from $3 to $5 is a big move. And so, it takes a little while for the market to level out and get back to normal. But usually there's enough turnover in there where we actually don't have to worry about the buyers and sellers' liquidity. Why not increase the percentage that goes into liquidity? Because we've got a budget, 50% for comp plan, 20% for marketing promotion, 10% for building the mine, 10% for overhead and my profit, and 10% for liquidity. If we change the liquidity number, we'd have to pull it from something else like marketing and promotion, and we don't want to do that. Maybe do another bonus that will get that number up. Yeah, look, we've got stuff like that that's coming, but really, I think just doing, managing the business better is the low-hanging fruit. Sending out an email. You saw what happened last week. We had 2,400 people on the call. This week we had just over 1,000. So when we communicate better and people know what's going on, they know we're still alive and doing well, they're more likely to get involved. And so that's the basics. That's what's really exciting. Have you considered pitching hedge funds, institutions, accredited types? Yeah, we're actually taking a look at that, not because we need buyers, but because if we don't put something out there for them to engage us, they won't engage us. Right now, to millionaires and billionaires, our project's very, very small. What happens is they go, $9,000, not worth my time. What they don't realize is that $9,000 could become worth millions and millions of dollars, but it's besides the point. The point is, as our project gets bigger, it becomes more appealing to larger investors. It's kind of a weird inverse proportion there. But the point is that in the redo of the website, we will have a button on there for large individual accredited investor purchases or institutional buyers. And that should start to open up some of those doors. Ron says, if coins would be able to offer on blockchain mint, we could get those. Yes, that's a big thing, man. Just like you said, getting welcome kits faster, giving you guys the ability to buy coins. Yeah, got it. It's all coming soon. Could we go over the wallet website again? I made a wallet, but it seems like a cold wallet. How do I move it out of that site? Was I only supposed to use it to back up my coin that was mailed to me? I'm not sure what you mean by wallet website. If you're talking about wallet.texitcoin.org, that only creates hot wallets. So check the docs and see if maybe there's something more specific that you can ask. Is the wrap TXC a permanent deal? It absolutely is. We've got 500,000 of them out there right now. We can create more if the market needs them. Right now, they do not need them. When the mines are all sold, will the commission change? The commission will be gone when the mines are sold. But remember, phase 3. If we buy up our own hash, can it count as cash potential? No, it counts as cash potential for somebody that's above you, your sponsor specifically. What's the Reddit group called? Texit Coin, quite coincidentally. Can you go into detail on this Texit Raider guy? What threats? Where did that come from? Yeah, no, I really don't want to. Look, there's a lot of people involved in our community. We'd like good, honest, forthright people to join us, but we get all types. We can't always tell who's good and who's not good on the front end. We'd like to think the best of everybody. So we invite everyone to join because we think everyone has the potential to be good. If we see somebody bad, we'll warn them. If we think that they're detrimental to our community or cause, we will ban them from participating in our compensation plan. That means that they can't earn commission. That sucks for them. But we don't turn off their mining power. We've never done that, and we never will. What Telegram group was the parade email sent to? I'm not part of it. It's the main Telegram group. I just dropped it in there right now. What's Bobby's next car going to be now that the SL63 is gone? I do not know. Reddit, yes. Doctor says, since the company is only releasing up to 1 million hash bonuses total, how are we making sure we stay within that cap? That's my job. Big question. Is Bobby actually going to shut it down at 1 million seats? Time will tell. Our commissions automatically stop once we get close to, we will stop selling. Look, when that day comes, it's going to be an exciting day. But no, we'll only sell the 100 million mega hash. Once that 100 million mega hash is sold, we stop selling. Or will anyone who qualifies after 1 million no, we will be done. When you overpaid for hash, then just took it out of our wallets, how do we know you can't do the same with the Texit Coin? Texit Coin's different. We have an elaborate system that goes through every night and calculates exactly how much hash somebody has and how much Texit Coin they should get. It's a big undertaking. It takes a long time to do it. But once those coins are sent and they're in your wallet, we can't touch them anymore. Gone. When will we in Canada get our coins? Good question. Check with Jen in shipping. I know that customer service is going through one by one and getting rid of coins and replacing them. I think now that the system works properly where you don't get a coin, if you're in Canada, we probably need somebody from Canada down here one more time to pick up coins. So if you got to volunteer, bring it on. Would it help if more Texas community would buy up these coins that those early miners that came in earlier are selling? Yeah, maybe, but that's not really our goal. Remember, our goal is to mine it. Then we got to create a market for us to sell it. If you're out there with a pickaxe pulling gold out of the ground, you want to know that there's going to be a buyer there for that gold. That's kind of what comes next. Right now, we're just building the mine. We've got an active and thriving enough market to facilitate the majority of the monetizing demands. But that's not really a prime focus for us right now. That'll happen as we fill up the seats on the rocket ship. So the theory about how to get to the $1 billion value and entice the world of crypto enthusiasts and traders to come along with us isn't really here yet. So as we scale our way up, we want to make sure that we have our own liquidity to get us there so that we can become appealing to the rest of the world. You were to talk about level 2. Any updates? No. Level 2's there. It's good. We're working on the app now. We're making lots of relationships with folks around town to be able to roll it out. And that'll be very exciting when that happens, but more on that at a later date. Justin says, as bigger exchanges get listed in daily volume and the exchanges acquire more coins and do routine selling, how do we stave off that accumulated selling pressure once there? We don't sell a lot on the exchanges. Look, the miners are encouraged to take coins to the exchanges and then set up your limit sale orders, and then people come along and buy those. Now, if they sell them back later, when the market price moves up, they make a quick buck, but then they miss out on the next move. So you can only really get off the rocket ship once. So we want more people to buy and hold and accumulate, but we're not really selling hard on the exchanges. Really, our participation in the exchange is buying. It's up to you guys to be the sellers. Would it be feasible to buy land and generate energy on the land with windmills or solar panels? That's a question for the mining team to evaluate as we get further into building out and we have more time to work on off-grid and stranded resources. But maybe that's going to be valuable down the road. Big Mike says, love the real estate for liquidity. Brilliant. Are you looking at real estate that is daily cash flow producing that could help you build more liquidity? No, right now, the primary goal is to just keep our cash safe somewhere. Stability is the primary goal. Revenue generation will come later once some of this pressure comes off of us. Will we ever get smart contracts or paper trails for miners to solidify the seats that they own? Yes, we will. Erica says, if we take TXC for our weekly commission, what prices are they calculated at to determine? That's calculated at the time that the commission runs on Saturday night. How many we receive for commission, the amount that we earn. Last week, I received a different amount. Yes, that is my bad. And I don't know if you got more or less. Hopefully it was more. But I didn't know that the commission calculation actually put a firm number in the email. And I set out whatever I thought the price was at about that time. And now I'm aware of the discrepancy and doing it the way the email says. When are the commissions sent out? They're all sent out by end of day Wednesday. I try to get them out on Tuesday, which I forgot today. It's not the same time as Hash. Hash goes in right away. So yeah, Texit Coin and USDC are paid out by end of day Wednesday, and that's tomorrow. Reminder. Bob says, would you ever consider holding commissions paid out if liquidity was needed to nudge the price? No. Our first promise to you is to pay commission on time. Amy wants to know, are we considered minors when it becomes tax purposes? I don't get involved in tax questions at all. That's a question you need to figure out. I get asked that question all the time, just like you do. But guys, tax stuff is all up to you. I'm not a tax advisor. I'm not an attorney. I'm not an investor, a banker, or a broker. I'm none of those things. I'm just a guy that's got an idea and has been able to invite a lot of people to join me for that journey. Can you please elaborate on which Andrea won the car? There are a couple of Andreas. Well, if I said it before we did the drawing thing, it's Andrea out in California from Beck's Engraving. After the 1667 price point, are we going forward with only market growth? Or are we going to keep adding to the liquidity? I don't know yet, Steve. At some point in this journey, the market needs to take over. There's a lot we can do and are going to do in order to entice the market to join us for our journey. It's still early. We're not there yet. We're not enticing them yet. Look, guys, we got enough money to advertise on every one of the major crypto sites. Every ad, every site. Etherscan, Altcoin Daily, podcast. We've got plenty of money now, but we're still in the mind building phase. And I want the participants that join us as miners to be as committed to the success of our project as possible so that we don't have to worry about people buying in, trying to make a quick buck, and then dumping. Once we fill more of the seats, then we will start rolling out more of our strategy for mainstream crypto. Will there be a new price chart after 16? No, I hope not. Swappy wants to know if I can elaborate on the L2 you mentioned the other night. No. Cold storage is a watch-only wallet, and QR code says that it's not a wallet. Need help. Yeah, the cold storage is watch-only. You got to reach out to your sponsor or check the help desk for that kind of stuff. Scott, what is the best short go-to video to share with someone who knows nothing about Texit? I've heard that there's like a 6-minute video out there that maybe Mike Healy made that doesn't have any branding or URLs or QR codes on it. Check in the Telegram group. Somebody should be able to share with you. Can you show us an actual transaction on the blockchain that shows us the fee and block the transaction? No, but it's really easy to find. You can either find it on explorer.texitcoin.org or you can find it in mempool.texitcoin.org. We got 2 explorers now. Steve, hi there, Steve. Long time no talk. Is it possible to get our 1-2 free status put into the back office, like where our points are, so we know how close we are to a 1-2 free bonus? Yeah, good idea. And hopefully that's coming soon with new reporting and the updated website. Swappy's back again to know if it's wise or prudent or the right time to promote businesses locally where we are and have businesses accept Texit as payment. Look, I encourage that all the time. You know, barter with each other, trade with each other, you know, exchange chickens and eggs for pizzas and footwear. Like you can use Texit Coin, you can use anything you want. I love that. But that's not part of our effort today. Remember, our goal today is to build the mine. Our goal, as we get into phase 2, is to build out the community currency stable coins through fairs and festivals and municipalities. That's the thing that we're focusing on. I don't think I'm ever going to worry about building out a big directory of businesses that accept Texit Coin directly, because as we integrate with, you know, other on-ramps and off-ramps and solution providers, we're able to take the Texit Coin and turn it into Bitcoin or USDC or dollars. So you can spend those things easily. But the layer 2 is where we're going to focus, and that's my work once we get layer or phase 1 moving along. Ed or ED, can you talk about the reusable and shareable code option in the wallet? So it uses the same address all the time, so it's easier to track the balance on the Explorer page. I can't, because I don't really know too much about how to do that. But what I can tell you is that one of the things about our system is privacy. And so every time you look at your wallet address, it should generate a new address for you. And that way you're giving out a new wallet address every time you're doing a new transaction, and that keeps your privacy at the highest level possible. Brendan, so will there be a space on the website soon that allows larger entities to sign up ahead of individuals? No, not for mining shares. Not for mining, just for coin acquisitions. Bree Guy says, hello, Bobby. If the US dollar collapse is imminent, how will it affect us? Yeah, look, that's why we diversify the liquidity. If we put it all into USDC, which is easy, we've got a centrally controlled coin that's based on the dollar. If the dollar goes to zero, our crypto holdings go to zero. We got to diversify. You have to diversify. We have to diversify. If you're thinking preparedness, you're talking medical supplies, food, water, personal protection type stuff. If we're talking about liquidity, we're talking about baskets of places to store it so we can keep it as safe and valuable as we can. David says, save $600 on what would have been credit cards by accepting TXC's payments last weekend. Great. Glad to hear it. Great way to move money. Yes, it's a good system and businesses should use it. Thanks, David. Will, have you thought about starting up a Texit Coin podcast? I don't know. This is kind of a Texit Coin podcast. When the mine is sold out, what is the projected date? When will the mine be operational? Well, the mine's operational now. We're continuing to add to it. It's always going to take us a little longer to have the mine operational than it takes us to sell it, because we got to sell it, get paid for it, buy it, ship it, cover tariffs, receive it, and install it. There's a lot of work that goes into actually, building it. When the mine is sold out, what's the projected date? I don't know. We're hoping that somewhere around February, so that my little projection and liquidity chart holds up and doesn't put strain or stress on some other part of our budget. Mine's operational now. Could we nudge the price to 80 quicker to increase the sales? We could, but then imagine all the people that are going to want to come and sell. You put $1,000 in, you got 400,000 coins. The coin's at 80. That's a $32 million paycheck. 400,000 times 80, is that 32 million? 400,000 times 80. Yeah, my math is on point today. So we don't want to nudge any quicker than we feel like we can comfortably hold. That's the whole idea of the nudge. We have this much liquidity, we nudge, we wait. Right now we're seeing a lot of selling pressure. If that pressure continues, we might have to dip into our liquidity. Is that the end of the world? No. But we have to continue to grow, and our price is a big component of what drives our growth. So all of these things are tied together, which means we have to do a good job continuing to share our story so that we continue to grow. Valerie was a few minutes late getting on the call. Have you mentioned anything about November 8th? No, I have not. Where do we get our tickets? I want to make sure we get our tickets to be at the event. Check out Eventbrite, search on there for Blockchain Mint, and the tickets should be live now. Lauren says, question from prospective buyer. What are you doing on this call? This is for miners only. What does Texit Coin do? What value does it have for when you want to sell? That's what I'm afraid of. No one wanting to buy it. I've never heard of it. Mining Bitcoin, you would be guaranteed to be able to sell it. Well, remember, that guarantee came after years and years and years and years of them doing exactly what we're doing right now. Talk with your sponsor, talk to the person that told you to jump on tonight's call, and hopefully they should have some information for you. Hopefully it's never needed, but is there a plan B if one of the monthly price targets to 16 is missed? Look, we've been talking about that a lot, because we see the numbers in the charts the same way you do. I'm not concerned today. I'll let you know if I get concerned, but one of the things you got to remember is we got a lot of ammo. We've got a lot of tricks up our sleeve. We have a lot of cards left to play. I don't know what the analogy is you want to use, but we got a long way to go before we could come back to you guys and be like, man, we tried it all and we just can't get it to go. We're not there yet. So a lot of things that we have yet to really scratch the surface on. And so therefore we're not worried, but we do know that we need to continue to grow. And at some point we're going to be concerned. We're not there today. Let's get through Christmas, first of all. Let's get through the end of the year. I think we're going to be able to come up with the liquidity. I think we'll get the market to go to where we want. I think as we start working on institutional buyers, then we'll be able to turn over the Texit Coin. We're going to go back to some of these guys that got in early. Like I said, guys, if I go back, 43,000 miners, if I go back 42,000 miners, I'm not seeing any risk there. It's really the first couple hundred guys. So we'll go back to those first couple hundred guys and say, hey, thanks for joining us. Let's put $250,000 in your pocket. Let's take a chunk of 50,000 coins and put those in somebody else's hands. Let's sell them to an institutional buyer. Now, here's the plan. I got a great plan, a price schedule that says you want in, you're somebody with deep pockets, you're not paying market price today. If you want to be on our top 100, you're going to pay a premium. You're going to pay next month's price. You want to be in the top 50, you're going to pay 2 months price from now. Top 30, top 25, you're going to pay the 3 month from now price. Then that additional money, that margin goes right into liquidity. That'll help us catch up on the liquidity faster. A little behind the scenes on the strategy, but we've got plenty of tricks up our sleeve that we'll pull out if we thought we were going to be in trouble. Today, we're not in trouble. We're not sounding the warning alarm. What we're saying today is that it's really great that our sales turn back around because we need the continued growth. The chart is based on our growth. The chart is based on our mining community continue to grow. That's on your shoulders, guys. I can't do that for us. I was barely able to get this thing started in the first place. A couple guys saw what we were doing and said, hey, I know some people. Let me put a room together. Start putting more rooms together. Let's start using the internet to get bigger Zoom calls. I've got 10,000 people that could join us for a webinar. You want to put together a webinar with 10,000 people? I'll jump on that webinar and give my pitch my way. So we have to continue to grow. I think we're there with the tools, with the onboarding process now to make it possible so that we don't get behind when we experience rapid growth. Plan B. We got lots of plan Bs. Justin, what would actually happen to top 100 if every sold coin they have, they'd crash the price down to a fraction of a penny and we'd come back and we'd keep going the next day? Seriously, if all the top 100 guys decided they hate my guts and they're going to crash the market, they would sell and they would get an average price that was very, very low. If the buyers aren't there to give them what they want, then the coins are going to crash the market down. Then we pop back up the next day with more liquidity. We say toodaloo and we keep going. My throat just made a funny sound. That means it's dinner time. 4 more questions. Who will be eligible for the Lotus giveaway in Tampa? That's a question for Angelo. I've put that in his hands. He'll probably do something similar to what I just did. I need to know what to do to get my name into the drawing as many times as possible. Just do a great job. 1, 2 frees are, a really easy metric for us to, point to for somebody that's out there helping us build and grow. So my best guess is 1, 2 frees between when I was in Tampa and the Tampa event or a couple days before. When we having a Christmas party or what? We sure are. Details forthcoming, but we're going to do something with the parade as well because we got 200 seats on the Texit Coin stage. I thought the whole point of us being limited to 9 was because we didn't want the whales coming in. Now you are actively seeking whales. What the small guys are going to be? No, David, please listen. We're talking about buyers of TXC. We're not talking about buyers of hash power. We're talking about buyers of TXC. The same way we're taking this story out to our friends on the other side of the world to buy the digital asset, not the mining. We want you to mine it. We want them to trade the digital asset. No, we're not changing that. My friend Brig, favorite 2 books that have influenced you in your life? Great question. Atlas Shrugged and,
Freaky Friday.
What?
Freaky Friday?
No, not Freaky Friday. I would say that the book Speaker for the Dead. Ooh. Orson Scott Card, little sci-fi.
Ooh.
Yeah. And of course, these are B-sides of the Bible. Roy says, I have a few new miners asking why they're only getting half a coin a day. Sample says $4 a day now. It's not that the website says $4 a day. That's how much the average miner is getting. So when you go out there and you build up your hash power, the average person now is getting, 4 coins a day. How do I explain to them that it will fluctuate? Remember, the daily output of the mine fluctuates, and their piece of the pie is going to get smaller, smaller, smaller as the mine gets bigger, bigger, bigger. That's by design. It seems a little frustrating at first, but remember, we want the biggest holders of Texit Coin to be the people that have done the most to help us build, grow, and succeed. That's kind of creates an inverse likelihood of people dumping the coin on the market. Now, there will be some, and that's okay. That's what the liquidity is there for. But remember, you can always do the math. Look up in the help desk exactly how to do the math to figure out how many coins anybody should get every day. Can there be a graph that shows 172,900, or how do you calculate this? I'm not sure what 172,900 is. Is that how much hash power we've sold? If so, that's the first chart on the website. This call is for miners only, but I see the replay of it on a public YouTube. That is confusing. Is it allowed? Look, what happens after we get off this call is up to you guys. We share a lot of inside information here, and some of it should probably stay private, but that's kind of the opposite of what this project is all about. So if you want to share it, by all means, share it. What I would really prefer, and this is actually something I want to hire for, is somebody goes through these Tuesday night calls and chops them up into little 30-second sound bites, right? As I scroll through TikTok, I watch Tucker Carlson stuff all the time. I've never watched a full Tucker Carlson interview, but I'll watch a 30, 45-second clip of Tucker Carlson or one of the other, popular guys talking about something that's interesting to me. I want somebody to chunk this stuff down into bite-sized, delicious, tender morsels so that you can share it on social media. If you say to somebody, hey man, watch this 2-hour podcast, who's got time for that? But if you chop it up into little 30-second, Bobby said something smart tidbits, much more digestible. I know we don't say it enough, but you're a great person. Thank you. We all appreciate your contribution to this live Zoom and the company. You have good heart energy. Thank you very much. Look, guys, I'm just a guy that's got a vision, that's on a mission to save the world. It's a lofty goal, but someone's got to do it. And I do believe in my heart of hearts that I am here to help bring back honest money. And I've dressed it up in a cryptocurrency Texit Coin rocket ship. Before it used to be this stuff. And I would have argued to the end of humanity that you needed to have physical coins in your pocket if you wanted to be doing something morally right. Today, I actually really do believe that cryptocurrency is a better way to go. Took me 12 years to get there, but I'm just a guy that's on a mission. And the thing that's different about now is I got a lot of people on this mission with me. Thank you for your kind words. Yes, it definitely was. The office confirmed it. Yes, it definitely was what? Confirmed what? Tell me what we're talking about here.
They confirmed it.
They confirmed it. The office confirmed it. Brig's back again to say, will you consider having some mining done in Florida? Brig, you and I are going to debate this on stage one of these days. I hope it's soon in Tampa. Guys, that's it.
Wow. Good job, man.
It's a 2-hour call, hour 53 minutes, but it seemed to go by very quickly. I didn't feel the weight of anything in this week's call. Is there anything that we didn't cover enough? Anything you think we got to go back on and touch again?
No, I think we'll hit the Christmas party more in depth with Chris.
Oh, I'm so excited about that.
That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great. I don't want to get anyone excited, but I did ask our promotion department to start looking into what it would take to do a Super Bowl commercial. And that's another one of those sensitive things now, because apparently there's like an alt halftime show. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, what are you doing? We're boycotting the Super Bowl. Oh man, I can't keep up. I thought the Super Bowl commercial was like the biggest and most awesome thing any marketing company could pull off.
It has to be funny. We got to bring back funny.
Remember that back when the was those were my favorite. Dallas Stars did not get finalized yet. We're still waiting for approval from the NHL. Yeah, look, guys, we don't want to waste money. The goal is to get the word out. But at some point, we're going to turn that corner and cross over into mainstream. Right now, we're marketing, building the mine. Soon, we're going to shift over into marketing Texit Coin, TXC, the Made in America blockchain, and invite people to join us. Bud. Why?
Yes, sir.
We got a lot of things coming our way, guys. I hope that you're still impressed. I hope that you're still as enthusiastic about our bright future as I am. I thank you as always for joining us on this Tuesday night edition. That's Robbie Rue. I'm Bobby too, and it's a real honor to be the guy that calls himself the founder and fearless leader. And I hope you join me this Friday.
Yeah.
Is it Friday? Is it Halloween?
Yeah. Halloween party.
Friday, Halloween in Grandscape, the Colony at Puttery. Tickets are probably sold out.
They are.
And we don't, that capacity is not up to us, guys. There's going to be somebody there watching the door. So hopefully you got a ticket. Hopefully I get to connect with you. Hopefully you're going to wear something awesome and come out and have a great time again with us this Friday at the Puttery. Make sure you got tickets first. But otherwise, guys, thanks so much again for joining. We will connect with you again at a later date, probably Tuesday on our next call. Have a wonderful night, and we'll talk again soon, guys. Good night.